What's up, guys? Welcome to Eat, Explore, Hunt. It's the evening sit for October 4th, 2019. This is our third hunt of the year. Hunted this morning, didn't have a whole lot of activity going on. Moved spots. I'm on the north end of the property. We still have a high north wind. But what made me want to stay in this spot, and I'll show you in just a moment. Right here, right down here, 5 yards away, a giant tree like this is tore up. And then about 20 yards away, there's a smaller tree that's tore up. And I'll show you in a moment, but this area in here is just so thick with vegetation. This is the most grown up I've ever seen this area. It's insane. The deer are going to be in tight if they come in. Back behind me is the black walnut plantation. Killed a lot of deer out of this plantation, but right now my wind's blowing right to it. So I'll have to be careful. There's a nice trail coming from the east directly to the stand where these rubs are. If a buck takes that route of travel, he should never smell me. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully we have more activity though. I may have forgot to say in the first 2 episodes, guys, but this weekend I am only hunting for a buck. No matter what. I only want to hunt a buck right now. The deer populations are down. They're lower than they have been in years past. I still have plenty of deer meat in the freezer. So, gonna be quiet. Sit still. And maybe there's a monster lurking in this thick vegetation. Only got about 25 minutes left of daylight. I got a doe and a fawn on the other side of the black walnut plantation. Can't show you guys. I got this tree right back behind me that's blocking the view. But so far that's it. Doe and a fawn and a bunch of turkeys. They've all flown up for the night. But still got a few more minutes to get it done. That's the thing about deer hunting, is things can change in a moment. One minute you're sitting there waiting, thinking, nothing's gonna happen. Next thing you know, a deer sneaks in on you. That's it for tonight, guys. We'll see you guys in the morning. Good morning. So, 2 bucks came in. The first one might have been a shooter. It was so dark I couldn't see. He was at about 16 yards. Right down here. I'll show you. Basically right down there, right past my GoPro. 16 yards. I had my bow in my hands. I was in the process of standing up when he was there. And he must have caught my scent because that's the same trail I had to walk in on. But he stood there for a few minutes, looking around. And then he kind of trotted off to where I didn't have a shot at him. And he kind of hung out in that area about 30 yards away for a good 15 minutes. But I never got a good look at him. I was trying to look at him in the dark, basically, and with my binoculars, and I never got a good look at him. The second buck, the one that I got on camera, he was just a little guy. I don't even know how big he was, maybe a 6-pointer. But the other one, the first one, he might have been a shooter, but maybe 130-inch, 8-point. It's hard to tell. He looked decently tall. He wasn't real wide. He was out past his ears, but he was definitely tall. But I just couldn't get a good look at him. It was so dark. It might not look that dark on camera, but in real life, 15 minutes ago, it was really dark. They didn't blow. They both trotted off eventually. So maybe we have another chance, but we'll see. I really just want to get a better look at him. He looked good in the dark. I didn't even have a chance to get my camera arm angled correctly, so it was off center. So I had to sit there and like hold it in position while trying to film. So I wouldn't have been able to get the first buck on camera regardless, because he kind of busted me, but I was hoping really just to get a shot at him and worry about the camera later. It's early, so we're not even to sunrise yet. Alright folks, this is the last sit on this particular property for at least a week. It's October the 5th. It's about 3:20 in the afternoon. I've already been here about 45 minutes. Got in really early because I already broke down camp, got the truck all loaded up. So as soon as I'm done this evening, if I don't get anything, pack up the camera gear, head back to the truck, and then I'll be heading home. I might hunt tomorrow morning and maybe even tomorrow noon on my farm. It really just depends on the weather. We have a slight chance of rain, but it hasn't rained in so long, I'm pretty doubtful at this point. So last night, and I'll probably add something in post, while editing. As I was packing up my camera gear, a doe actually walked through in under 20 yards, maybe 15 yards. As I was packing up, she walked up the hill and then cut through the woods right over here. And I'll show you the trail that she took here in just a minute. So I'm assuming that this doe came from the bottom, like they often do in the evenings. Came up the hill. She went out through the black walnut plantation and to the alfalfa field. This is a pretty common theme on this property. Today we have a south wind, and it's pretty calm, but we're having some gusts of wind during this time. It's kind of blowing into this thick vegetation that I'm hunting off of. I'm not too terribly worried about my scent. I have all fresh clothes, and basically I bathe myself in scent-free spray to try and, contain my human odors. Been here for a few days. This is my third day being here. I haven't been able to shower in this time, so trying to keep my scent down. It hasn't affected the deer too much. It seems like actually every sit almost I've had a deer come in downwind and it hasn't affected them. Granted, a couple of those were small bucks. Small bucks are pretty dumb sometimes, but this morning I had a good buck and a young buck. And the good buck didn't smell my scent until he actually came across my walking trail where I walked into the woods. He came across that crossing point, and it was a perfect spot. Had it been 10 minutes later, I would have been able to fully identify him, whether or not he was a shooter, and maybe I could have seen him before he got right on top of me. Like I said a little bit ago, he was at 16 yards, and he caught me. He caught my scent as I was in the process of standing up. I already had my bow in my hands. I was in the process of standing up, so I was like hunched over, kind of, in that halfway point of between sitting and standing, and his nose was straight up in the air, and I never got a shot. But then again, I never got a great look at him. He might have been younger than what I was expecting. He might have been younger than what I thought originally. It's hard to tell. There's basically no wind right now. We're getting down to the prime time, guys. We got 1 hour. 1 hour left of shooting light. Haven't seen anything yet. But on a nice day like today, it's not overly cool. It's in the low 70s. Deer aren't going to travel till right at dark. Well guys, the skunk at the end there was a perfect metaphor for tonight. I sat out there from 2 o'clock on all the way up until dark, and I did not see a single deer in the almost 6 hours I was out there. In this property, that's rare. We've been hunting here for nearly 20 years. Myself, probably 15 or 16 years. And in 15 years, I can probably count less than 10 times where that's happened. Less than 10 times in over 15 years that I've sat and never seen something in a sit. So definitely a weird night. The weather was beautiful. You know, I'm very thankful for the beautiful weather. But, you know, that's just how it goes sometimes. That skunk, though, was beautiful. If I get a chance at shooting him, I might have to shoot him. He'd make a beautiful pelt. But so guys, let me know in the comment section down below, how do you like the format? Did you like this episode where it was numerous sits, or did you like it where it was each sit was its own video? Do you want them to be longer, shorter, you know, based off content? Just let me know in the comment section. That way I know what you guys want to see out of a video. Really, that's all I have, guys. I got a 2-hour drive home, so I'm gonna load up and get out of here. Thank you so much. Good luck this bow season. Hope you guys have a good one.